Good day, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. This is Erica Carlson speaking on behalf of the affirmative team. Raising the bar for 2+ million students across the nation is no small effort. We defend the need for high standards and quality programs for students, along with committed community partners who might be awarded a charter. We also recognize that our diverse nation has diverse student needs. The negative team has not sufficiently addressed the need for nimble schools who can adapt to a rapidly changing world. Their argument is simply one to sustain the status quo in public schools. Now, this is exactly the problem Ted Kolderie, godfather of the charter movement, described when he said, "We don't want the old model done better. We want options for new models on how to do school." Now, are there jokers and crooks out there for their own gain instead of the benefit of students? Sure. But we can find the same types in politics and business. We say some bad apples are not justification to avoid going apple picking. Now, few would argue that the school systems in America have little room for improvement. The opposition has simply not provided a direction or a vision to take us forward. Charter schools, however, seek to address problems with classroom size, dropout rates for students living in poverty, and the technological demands of a 21st century world. The opposition has stated that charter schools take needed funding away from public schools, and, on the average, students perform no better than their public school counterparts. We would like to remind our audience not to fall for the tyranny of the average. If educating students was a static operation, the average might be a useful comparison. But since education is based on context, teachers, resources, student motivation, looking at the average is at best incomplete, and at worst detrimental to this shared goal of meeting the needs of students. Let's turn instead to examples of charters with successful results. The example sizes of these successful schools may still be too small to be statistically significant, but they are calling our attention to practices that work. These are still the schools to study and emulate. As a subpoint, we would also like to note that the opposition has also measured student outcomes by testing results only. This one perspective is archaic. National tests are a measure, for sure, but also consider the need for soft skills such as time management, collaboration, and other measures. Charter schools like High Tech High in California are making these learning skills a major focus. These can challenge the old industrial Prussian model we know as public schooling. Flexibility continues to be a stronger argument in support of charter schools than against them. Citing a NAEP report, the opposition has argued against a longer school day. We affirm this argument is more complex than simply comparing school hours and standardized test scores. Hours in school don't necessarily equal instructional time. Hours in school don't measure how much time is spent on math, science, etc., and international comparisons are usually only based on a required minimum. Students in China, Korea, and Japan commonly attend night school or tutoring sessions in the evening. Our central point here is twofold. Data does not show necessarily that American schools have a longer school day, and basing decisions about schools on false perceptions about the definition of a school day could be quite damaging. We challenge our opposing team to look at the potential for charter schools with their flexibility. The affirmative team asserts that attentive study to the best way to run charter schools remains the best way to progress options in education. Take accountability. Charter schools are expected to achieve specific educational outcomes within a certain period, or have their charters revoked. Public school teachers and supervisors have faced little to no consequences for poor performance because they are protected by civil service regulations, tenure, collective bargaining agreements, and so forth. Also, charters serve children who are not well served by traditional public schools, especially low-income students in urban areas. Take the Mastery School in Minneapolis, for example, serving exclusively low-income African American students. Their curriculum is steeped in African history and culture, and they believe that this is crucial to closing the achievement gap for these students. Contrary to what the negative team reports, There is evidence that students in some charters are outperforming their counterparts in public schools. This is the data to reconsider. 2013 Stanford study. 27 states, representing 95% of all charter schools across the nation. The study shows it's possible to pick winners. They show the percentage of high-performing charters is growing, including minority students in poverty and students learning English. These academic results are showing stronger ratings in comparison to the previous 2009 study, also by Stanford Credo. In conclusion, we maintain that charters are an American idea. They are democratic, innovative, and hold hope for the future. Thank you for your time.